The shouting matches, the endless back and forth. When a relationship is locked in active conflict, the sheer sensory overload can feel paralyzing. From the other side of the room, every word feels like a targeted critique, a relentless spotlight on every flaw and failure. The natural response to that kind of pressure is defense. You put up walls. You look for an escape hatch. The conflict becomes the enemy, and the only thing you want is for the noise to finally stop. Then comes the day the dynamic shifts. She stops fighting. The complaints vanish. The long, exhausting discussions about what needs to change are replaced by a heavy, unreadable quiet. It is incredibly easy to mistake this quiet for a truce. The immediate lack of friction feels like a victory. You exhale, thinking the storm has passed and the relationship has finally stabilized in something manageable. But this text reveals a darker reality. A woman's silence is far more dangerous than her anger or her praise. The sudden absence of conflict isn't a hard-won peace treaty. It is the definitive signal that the bond between you has entirely fractured. Treating emotional withdrawal as a sign of relationship health is a fatal miscalculation. It leaves you completely blind to the fact that the connection you thought you were saving has already quietly died. We have to reframe what an argument actually represents. Complaints and anger require a massive amount of emotional caloric output. When a partner is pushing back, they are actively spending their energy trying to modify behavior, fix the broken pieces, and keep the connection alive. This chart illustrates investment friction. Chaotic, high-energy spikes of conflict correlate directly with high relationship investment. The sheer effort to fight proves she still cares. But when hope disappears and she accepts the dynamic won't improve, that energy flatlines. The investment drops to absolute zero. Friction generates heat. Without that constant rubbing together of opposing forces, there is no warmth left to sustain the environment. The relationship rapidly cools, freezing over into complete apathy. Anger acts as the immune response of a relationship. As long as the fever of an argument is burning, the body is still actively fighting to survive the infection. The exact shift happens in a fraction of a second. It is the precise, internal moment she accepts that you will never change. The internal objective instantly switches from repairing the relationship to abandoning it. As the text outlines, her quietness does not bring comfort. It is an unannounced decision of separation. It happens entirely within her own mind, without a single word spoken, marking the definitive end of your story together. This withdrawal of all emotional investment is a form of internal interment. By choosing silence, she has effectively buried her partner in a mental grave. The mechanics of this erasure are brutal. Her physical body might still be walking through the house, and the daily routine might continue uninterrupted, but her emotional avatar has already stepped out of the picture, completely deleting you from any version of her future timeline. Relationships do not end on the day someone finally packs a bag and walks out the front door. They die months earlier. That sudden, comforting silence you felt was actually the funeral dirge. Eventually, the illusion of peace shatters, the realization sets in, and the partner left behind is forced to confront the psychological devastation of a completely empty room. There is a strange paradox to conflict. Even toxic, screaming arguments provide a baseline level of psychological validation. If someone is yelling at you, it proves you still hold the power to affect their emotional state. You still matter enough to be a priority, even if it is a negative one. This diagram illustrates what happens when that validation is stripped away by apathy. Notice how the spheres of influence completely disconnect. Apathy removes all of your emotional power, reducing you from a significant, impactful force in her life to entirely irrelevant background noise. The realization of absolute insignificance, the sudden understanding that someone who used to care deeply now feels absolutely nothing, shatters the ego. As the final lines of the passage conclude, a woman's silence is the greatest danger to a man, inflicting a wound far more painful than any physical blow to the body. A relationship faces its greatest danger when the energy required for a messy argument disappears, replaced by a cold and permanent apathy.